Well, unfortunately, I gotta tear this apart again. This last weekend, I was out in the mountains sledding, and unfortunately, flipped her upside down, barrel rolled it into a creek. Yeah, she was completely upside down in the creek, engine submerged. It was not a good time. We were up to our knees in the creek and water, tipping it back up. Finally got it out of there. Did manage to get it running so that we could get out of the mountains. But then she seized up. So, yeah, luckily didn't have to tow it far. It was only 2 kilometers from the truck when it seized up. Now that I got it home, it does turn over, but which is a bonus. But obviously, still some major issues. So I'm going to pull the motor out and break it open, see what it looks like. I don't have high hopes for it. I'm lots of bad possibilities here, but we'll get her pulled out. First, I'm going to pull the hood and the side panels off, and I'll check the compression just for shits and giggles there. See what it is at there, and then we'll get yanking this motor out. Here goes. Left cylinder on the clutch side, it's not even at 60 psi there, about 55. The mag side cylinder was at 100, which isn't great, but get the coolant pull out of this, start tearing it apart, and go from there. Here goes. So just to walk you through what I got done so far, obviously I took the pipe out, got the sensor disconnected from the pipe as that came out. Then I undid this steering linkage across here just to give you more room to work on the top here. Disconnected this coolant line, extracted as much coolant as I could out of there, and then also this coolant line here, which connects right there on the back of the head. Got that one, inserted this as far down as I could, remove as much as I can off of that. So that's the start anyway. Up next is basically going to be getting more coolant lines out of the way, removing the Y pipe, and of course over here gonna have to pull the drive clutch, and that'll open up this side. So yeah, off to a start anyway. Well, got these out. Definitely pretty gummed up. And this clutch side exhaust valve was wedged in there pretty good. It took some tugging to get that out of there. And it sure looks like this one spring, obviously this exhaust valve is for the clutch side, but this one spring is definitely a little mangled here, and was not putting any pressure on that valve there. But yeah, not that side's not terrible. That would be the mag side. This side is very gummed up and not looking super good. So let's keep carrying on, I guess. Onto the Y pipe here. Now that the exhaust valves are out, we gotta take the Y pipe off of here and getting a little closer to yanking this this motor out and opening it up, see what she's like. Well, we've got a bunch removed here. The exhaust valves, as you saw, and now the Y pipe. This lets us look in to the cylinder there. So that's the mag side piston, which doesn't look terrible. But if we scoot over here, that is the clutch side cylinder, which is not in great shape. So anyway, that's a start. Top is disconnected, front is disconnected. This side, this frame brace, this coolant line, then this side will be clear. The clutch side, all clear. We struggled and got the clutch off of there. And that will leave us with disconnecting the fuel rail and injectors here. And even harder to see, but in past my finger, we have the throttle body here. And we're gonna disconnect that on the engine side of the throttle body next to the reeds. And then of course, our oil pump here. Gotta disconnect. This is the feed line that comes from the oil tank on the far side there. So we disconnect that, plug it off so the oil tank doesn't drain. Snip this little zip tie because that's really all that holds this in. And then that can come out with the engine. That way we're not disconnecting all those lines in there past my finger. I think there's 6 that come off of the pump and go to various places on the engine. So that way we just pull that out with the engine and can take it from there. So a little bit of progress, but more to come. Stand by. So a little more progress here. We got the oil pump disconnected and the feeder line from the oil tank pulled back through. We've got the fuel rail and injectors pulled out here. That went in through here. That came out quite well. All right, it's just back here now. And then these are the 2 hose clamps right here and right there off the end of my finger that will get loosened up next to the reeds here. and that will allow us to separate the whole back of the engine from the intake side and the throttle body. The thermostat, I just got that unplugged. I've got the stator unplugged here from this section up here. So really, loosen these two hose clamps up a bit more, and then we'll be ready to start undoing the actual motor mounts right here and here. There's 4 of those, 2 on each side. And then we should be able to rock it forward off of the throttle body and hopefully feed her out through this side here. And here's our oil feed to the pump line. Just cap that off and pull it out of the way. So this is the other side looking back through at those 2 hose clamps. We're going to disconnect from the throttle body next to the reeds here. Give us wiggle room to pull one out. So making headway. Well, she's out. There she be. Just got a little bag over the oil pump there. As far as first impressions, definitely the clutch side has some issues. The mag side does not look that bad at all. Definitely a little bit of wear, but nothing critical. You can even see the back of the jug there a bit, doesn't look too bad. If we come over to the clutch side, it's a different story. That piston is not in good shape. That cylinder is definitely showing some wear. Particularly the far side of that piston looks really bad, which is the side of the exhaust valve that the spring was not working on. So yeah, hard to say what happened first here, but she's out. And time to start tearing it apart and seeing what the actual full extent of the damage is. In the meantime, this girl won't be going far.